As much as we all like to rip on men, this is time to take some accountability.
I wouldn't be able to live with myself.
If you let your girl die, then who are you going to provide for?
I would probably commit suicide like the guy at the end of the movie.
Come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Come on, fam. You're doing too much now.
You wanted. Wait. What happened in the movie?
He shoots himself.
Oh, because he was like, oh my God, people think I'm a pussy because I survived? Fuck them.
I think it's deeper than that. I don't think we can really understand the human soul in this way, really. It eats away at us. And maybe it's because I believe in a higher power. I think that evil is not a social construct. It exists, and it can creep in.
Wait, you think it would
good
be
intentions, and often we can logic our way into bad decisions. Because it's when illogical behavior saves you, is what is intriguing, and that's where spirituality for me lies. It's the only explanation. So we were talking about with Brigadier Nicholson, but Churchill saying, no, we're going to fight to the last man, only when the last one's choking their own blood, which is not logical. Everyone around them is saying, do the logical move. They're making your argument. What's the point of going down fighting when we can appease with Hitler, surrender, and live? And he said, it's better to die defending the temples of your ancestors. That will allow your forebears to rise again one day.
But I think the calculus here is a little bit different, because if we're looking, if I take somebody else's seat in the life preserver on the Titanic, only it's one life to one life. Whereas I don't know if it's a totally fair comparison or equivocal to say, okay, well, if we sacrifice 10,000 soldiers to save hundreds of thousands of soldiers, that's something commonly done in warfare, where it's like, well, okay.
It wouldn't be one life, though, because it's all the men don't do it unless you're the only one. And that's what makes you lose your legacy.
Wait, all the men?
The men voluntarily stay back, except the one who doesn't. And that's why all the women sit there and stare at him. And it destroys.
I mean, I'm very much okay with women giving me oh my God, I'm okay. I'm not, but.
The reason why Brian and a growing number of young men don't have the urge to want to sacrifice our lives for women of today is the women of today have a disdain for men. They talk about patriarchy. They talk about decentering themselves from us. So why would we want to sacrifice our lives for people that don't like us?
I would not. Social pressure or disapproval, like women's disapproval, is not going to be sufficient enough for me to be willing to die because of women's disapproval. I was using that as I know
an example of it's much deeper than just the women on the lifeboat looking at you.
You mentioned the word evil, though. Do you think it's evil for a man to get on the life preserver instead of a woman?
In that case, to be logically consistent, I was trying to make the point of it's easy to logic your way into evil. I'm not sure. It is self-preservation, and it's unfair, but so I'm not sure if evil would be the right word for it. But I think it goes against something deeper. I bring in the idea of the kids. What if your kids were on shore, and they would know? That would be enough for me. And if that would be enough for you, then it shows you the magnitude of that decision about this is something deeper, even if you don't have kids.
Oh yeah, I would be prepared though to say, and if my position isn't clear, even if I had nobody in my life, I would still take that option.
You'd be more likely if you had no one in your life. That's my point.
To what?
If you did have kids, and they were and you would come home to them, and they would know. And that would be your legacy. It would go down, let's just for the thought experiment, it would go down into history. And then you'd be in this movie in 2012 or whatever, and they're depicting you on screen. And that's how you're going to be remembered. You're saying it doesn't matter to you. And I can understand that. That's a logical argument. Why would you're dead? Who cares?
Oh, okay. Wait, so you're saying but when I'm still alive.
I would care is what I'm saying. And in that moment, that would make me take a different course of action.
So just to be clear, when I say I don't, it could very well be the case, being labeled a coward, that would bring some degree of shame. It's not that I'm saying that there wouldn't potentially be guilt or shame. But I think my desire to, like, say I have a family, right? My desire to survive for the benefit of my family, and then also, I'm not going to virtue signal, the benefit of myself and self-preservation. I am willing, in terms of the calculus of, the comparison of all factors, the totality of all the circumstances, survive, but like have shame. I would rather survive and have shame than die and go out doing the honorable thing, if that makes sense.
No, I get your position. We're kind of repeating it now.
Yeah. And even like, I would also frame it to my kids, like, there could be social pressure impacting my kids, like, whoa, your dad wasn't willing to die. I'd be like, you might think that, but also I'm still here now, and your guys' life would be way more fucked up if I still wasn't alive. So to me, it's like, to the benefit of the family, to the benefit of myself. And that supersedes the external social pressure, social shame, social guilt. And and I reject the disposability of males. So it's just, I think it's a pretty coherent worldview.
Oh, I agree with you. Males should not be disposable.
But I mean, within your worldview, aren't they?
No, we're taking a specific hypothetical, whether it's Brigadier Nicholson or the Titanic, and saying, if you were in this horrific situation, what is the least bad course of action?
To the mic if you can.
That doesn't mean I think men are disposable. Like, I can't just go.
I don't. Well, just to be clear, I don't think they're disposable, but I think society thinks men are disposable under both Then
we go back to the Russian example of like, okay, if we are invaded, what do we do? Like, because it's utility.
Well, so I want to explore that a little bit when it comes to duties. And there's actually a chat that came in that will probably prompt this. Let me pull up the chat, though. One sec. It is Beaten Cheeks. What duties do women bring to society? Or better yet, what do you bring to the table to get your so-called dominant man? Plenty of men in the USA. Women need to be feminist at start, not after knowing a man. So going around the table, starting with you, what duties do women bring to society?
What duties do women bring to society? I can only think about one, and that's childbearing.
Good question. Like, bring to society or bring into a relationship?
It's both.
Yeah. Okay.
So what duties do you bring? Like, do you have any duties to men? And then do you have any duties to society? When I say men, like to your future husband or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard to say society. I don't know, I guess for me, for my man, I guess my duty is to be loyal and supportive, emotionally there, a motherly figure. Am I going the wrong direction with this?
Why do women feel comfortable saying they don't know what duties they have to society? Have you ever wondered at least?
I thought you shook your head. No?
Oh, well, when you say loyal, I suppose this would be like a equal duty. So...
Yeah, I guess to be a motherly figure, be supportive, be... like emotionally there. I don't know, it's hard to say because I think a lot of things go both ways, but
sure.
Kind of hard answer.
What about you? Scoot to the table if you can.
So for society of relationships, both. I think for society, being teachers, being caretakers, that's an important role for women to take. In a relationship, I think like being a cheerleader and also being a place, like a safe haven for a man. He can be out in the world being masculine and tough, but he can be vulnerable with me. And be a place of trust.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say probably the nurturing side to both society and to your relationship, because it's more so of like how you nurture your relationships, whether they're friendships, your family members, and your or your partner. You're going to want to be there for them to like kind of care for them and be in that femininity side. And then, like as she said, supporting as well. So.
Do you guys hear these answers? They're trash. Men will sacrifice their lives for society. What is the equivalence of that for women?
Okay.
I agree. I think a female's position should be a caretaker in society and in the family. I mean,
Sure.
most women are teachers because they're caretakers. That's what our role in society should be.
But we can do that too. And we do that. What is your duty to society?
Okay, what about you?
I think the role is to be a mother and to raise children to be valuable members of society, and to also take care of your community. Like, of course, there are women who can't be mothers just because of like health issues and stuff like that. You can still take care of your community and serve your husband by anticipating what his needs are and what his wants are, so that he doesn't even have to tell you what he needs. You already know it.
That was a pretty good answer, because most of the stuff that she said would make a feminist cringe.
Yeah, I agree with all of these ladies over here on the panel. I will add one thing. I think it's also a duty of women to not sell themselves short or give too much of themselves to just anyone. And I mean that, you know, in terms of like the world of like prostitution or OnlyFans or anything like that. I think that's very important. We owe that to society to set a better example. To be more respected, to not only men but to other women and also children as well. I think that's very important to uphold those kinds of qualities in order to exude the more feminine qualities of being a wife and being loyal and being, you know, just not being promiscuous. I think that's important.
Felicity?
Be a good partner, be a good person, have children.
So do women, so women have a duty to have children?
I think so.
I think we're all here to reproduce.
Okay. So just really quick, I guess bringing it back to like duties. So what's interesting to me though, when it comes to war, and we were talking about this when it came to the draft, right? Like Russia invades. So for the panelists here, do you think if a country were to invade us, do you think that the men have a duty to like try to fight the enemy, join the military, become a soldier?
Anyone who's physically capable, mostly men. I personally would not do very well in the war. I'm going to back out of that.
I don't think women should be involved in combat. I think it's the woman's duty actually to become like the nurse, take on the caretaker role for the men in war, for the soldiers in war, nurture them, nurse them.
Yes, during war times, nursing duties, and also replenishing the population, bringing forth life, childbearing.
Back to health, whatever it is. I think women also have a role. Granted, it's not as severe as the men have, you know, being faced with imminent death every day, but I think women also take on that role, and I think it is the man's responsibility. I don't think women, because women are biologically less capable than men, I just think women should stay out of it, should stay out of combat.
I think a more important question is to ask if the men are capable of being protectors nowadays, especially in the USA, I think.
Agreed.
If with their diet and lifestyle and
I mean, someone has to do it, and I don't think the women are going to be in general more capable, so I think the men do have a duty.
They do. I agree completely with you, but are they capable of being the strong men that we need for them to protect us?
They should be, but a lot of them aren't, as like how progressive things have become, I feel like, and especially like you said with the
first
discipline.
ones killed at the war.
But why the U.S.? Why did you say the U.S.?
Because what I've learned health-wise, it's not like the best place to be, I think. Affects the men, especially here. Like when you need to get into in the military, you have probably a set of tests you need to do, and I'm sure most of the men nowadays are not capable to pass these tests.
But the U.S. still has the strongest military force. So what are you getting at?
Spent 10 days in Amsterdam. Those guys are huge. Like 6 foot over. Yeah.
Well, how about this though? Because we were talking about like if Russia invades, let's say you guys knew that Russia was invading, and if we didn't draft men. So what I mean by that is by drafting men, you're forcing them, the state, the government, forces them to fight. Like, let's say as a guy, you're like, I don't want to fight. The government's like, nope. Send you off to training. They will physically force you. They'll like, you try to not go. The military police will come to your, you got to put it center if you're stepping away. The military police will come to your house. They'll abduct you. We've seen this in Ukraine. They literally abduct men.
Does it make the
off the
difference
street
between being overrun or not, though? To introduce that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go to is if you force men against their will to go and fight, that is the determining factor in preventing, say, Russia from invading. And let's say this is like a really nasty version of Russia in some like alternate universe where they're going to kill all the men anyways, and then they're going to like take all the women as war brides and basically essay them. This is obviously something that has actually happened historically in various wars. So would you guys be advocates for forcing men under these circumstances to fight?
They're slow and hesitant to answer this question. It's almost like they know there's a gotcha part to this.
One has to do it. There's no, you have to choose. It's either going to be the men or who else is it going to be?
So, right. But so we now have established that men have a duty to do this, right? What duties can the state compel women to do?
To help there's other positions, right? In war.
You said.
I think what he's trying to get to is, can the state compel women to have more babies?
Said you were actually, I think maybe you two were the only, I think you're the only one who answered this correctly. Women's duty is to have children. Are they though? No. But I think many of you would object to the following duty. And by the way, just to be clear, I'm not advocating for this, but play with me here with the example. Would you be okay with the following example? Russia's going to invade, but in 20 years. I don't know, we can see 20 years into the future. We don't have the requisite population level as it currently stands to combat Russia. But if we draft women into and they can select their partner, but the women are drafted to give birth.
Yes.
And that's the only way to prevent Russia. We know if the women, each woman has 2 children. If that's the only way, and if we don't like basically essentially force women to give birth, then Russia's going to invade and kill all the men and like, you know, do bad things to women. Would you be in favor of forcing women, taking away their free will, forcing them to have children?
Yes, I would agree with that.
What about you?
That's hard to say. I don't know.
Serious? How is it hard to say when men are literally on the battlefield dying for you to stay alive, but you can't even just give birth?
For me, I mean, yeah, I do believe that women should have children. Do I believe all women should have children? Probably not. I think people who are capable mothers should be. Like, there's a lot of times where people have children and they are drug addicts living on the street, and now the child has to grow up in that environment. So I mean, your average woman who is financially responsible or whatever, it's like a caring mother. I mean, I think they should.
It's getting a little bit away from the question because, like, for example, with the other example I provided, it's possible that you're going to draft men who are like going to be incompetent soldiers. When you draft them. So in this case, it's possible that you would end up drafting like incompetent mothers, I guess, but invariably we still need them to birth enough future soldiers. So under these circumstances, would you be in favor of forcing women to give birth to children?
Yeah,
I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I have to.
worded it that way.
When you word it like that, I mean, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the reason I say this is, so we send men off to training when they get drafted, and let's say we go to war and they have to go to training. Well, obviously, let's say we have the bad mothers who can't take care of their children. Why would you not make sure that you have people, let's say people who can't even have kids, why would you not have them go ahead and take care of those children and make them into productive members of society to be able to fight the
there
war?
could be an entire system built around this where there's like, there's like courses that are taught, and the women are prepared to like raise the most fucking badass soldiers, warrior children, and guidelines on like nutrition and like getting them in good physical shape, this sort of thing. So, Alina, your thoughts? Should we be able to draft women to?
I mean, you said it's the only thing stopping the invasion.
Yeah.
So yes, most of those women are going to want to have children anyway. So it's like if the men's free will is being taken away in the way that they have to get drafted to combat, then the women's corresponding responsibility would be their free will being taken away in that way.
What is he doing?
He's beginning to believe.
It's a fair exchange.
Okay. And they get to choose their partners too. So it's like most of them are going to do that anyway. They're going to choose their partner and they're going to have children with that man. So I think it's fine.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I think especially with the choice of partner, I think that's I think it's okay. I mean, especially since the men can't choose, who's going to take them off the, unalive them. So
Sure. All right. Did you have something on this, Warren, or?
No, it was interesting because when you introduce the second condition that is required in order for victory or survival, more importantly, what often happens, and I think the first way it was framed, this is how I usually hear this thought experiment framed, is just, okay, well, if men are going to be required to fight, should women be required to reproduce? Because reproducing is equally important. But when you make it a victory condition, that's when you suddenly saw people change their minds.
Right.
They were more on the fence. Because then it's logically, normally I would say you want the minimum number of negatives. It's survival in that scenario. All we need is this negative requiring men, but requiring women to reproduce, that's an additional negative that has no correlation to survival. But when you make it conditional now, it's...
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. We're going to do some more chats. We have Davon Jackson. I generally disagree with Brian on this, but it is a raw deal for a man to sacrifice his life to save a woman who will remarry and take some other dude's name anyway. The guilt argument doesn't work.
I'm telling you, that's every man's worst nightmare.
Davon Jackson, thank you. He disagrees with me. It's a raw deal. Yeah, it's a raw deal. I don't know. She's going to be back on Tinder and like shit. Anyways, we'll move it on though. We have Stifler ask everyone to rate their own looks on a scale of 1 to 10. Starting with you. Go ahead.
I can't pick 7. I was going to pick 7.
You can't pick 7.
Can I pick half numbers? 7.5.
No, just do full numbers.
I guess 8 then.
I'll give her a 5.
8? Okay, what about you?
6.
6, okay.
I give her a 6.
Go for an 8.
I give her a 5.5.
8, okay.
A 4 or 5.
Alina?
Give her a 4.
6.9.
Uh-huh.
I give her a 6.
I'd say a 4.
I give her a 5.
4? Warren, what about you? Into the mic if you can. 5? 5. All right, I give myself a 5. Also. All right, wow, everyone's pretty reasonable here. Look at that. Love it.
I feel like it's a really based panel, like one of the most based.
I know, it's a little...
Yeah, I would have to agree. This is the most based panel in months.
Well, I'm a little disappointed. In all you guys. Well, I mean, I kind of got them upset with the whole wife should die thing.
That was the best birthday present.
Yeah? Yeah. I mean,
it was good.
It was a good combo. By the way, no hard feelings. We disagreed. No hard feelings. Do you think you'll be better looking in 10 years' time?
I would hope so, but probably not.
So you're 28, better looking in 10 years' time at 38?
Most likely not.
Okay. And then are you better looking now than when you were 18?
Yes.
Okay. You're 32, better looking in 10 years' time at 42?
No.
Okay.
Damn, you're 32? She's aging pretty well.
You're 32, were you better looking at 22? 10 years ago?
I think my style is better, but I don't know if I looked...
Sure.
I looked more youthful back then,
Okay.
of course.
You're 26, will you be better looking in 10 years' time at 36?
I believe so.
20 years' time, 46?
If I'm sticking with my gym routine, I would say so.
Stop it. Get some help.
Nice girl, but A bit delusional.
Nicely.
30 years time, 56. Better looking.
I don't think so.
Okay. You're 32, better looking in 10 years time at 42?
Absolutely not.
And then you're 32, were you better looking at 22?
Yes.
Okay. You're 20, better looking in 10 years time at 30?
I don't think so.
Okay, 19, better looking in 10 years time, 29?
No.
Felicity?
10 years.
10 years time, 29?
I don't know. I don't know anymore. I used to say yes, but I'm going to go no.
Okay. Gonna go no. All right. We do a segment called, I don't know, man, you guys are too nice. I'm going to have to just intentionally argue with you guys over something. The statement is, a woman should not be rejected because of her weight. You circled it, so you agree with the statement.
I don't think so, but I know people are going to do it anyways. I mean, no, you know what? I kind of take that back because I think everyone is entitled to their own likes. I don't know.
What about you?
To say.
I was just thinking in a specific situation, if you're dating someone who gets fat and she's trying, or he or she is trying to do the effort to lose weight, then I think you shouldn't be like, I forgot the word in English.
So wait,
you shouldn't reject them because they got fat, for example. If they're doing the effort to lose the weight, again, you shouldn't be rejecting them. But if it is a preference to you to not date someone that is overweight, you shouldn't be doing it. So. But
rejecting somebody would typically indicate that it's upfront. So just to clarify, so the woman is trying to lose weight. Is it your position that a man should not reject her then if she's trying to lose the weight? Like he likes everything else about her, but she's really fat, but she's trying to lose weight, so he should go ahead and date her anyways.
No, if he doesn't want to do that, then no.
Oh,
if they're in a relationship, you shouldn't just based on that just reject her or like break up.
Okay, your thoughts on this?
Obviously, I feel like women should be rejected for their weight because the woman body can fluctuate sometimes, and sometimes, it's not based.
Here we go again.
On.
Okay, fine, sure. A woman's body changes, no problem. But I can't get aroused to you, so there's gonna be a disconnect.
It's not based on what?
It's not based on like I don't know. Sometimes like women have a lot of health conditions, so
okay.
You're a victim. Here we go, CSI.
Yeah, I feel like they shouldn't be.
So the guy should go ahead and date her even though he doesn't want to because she's temporarily fat due to her health problems.
I mean, what Leanna said, like, obviously, the answer is, like, I would like not for that to happen, but, I mean, people are gonna like what they like at the end of the day.
But, like, what?
I feel like she's not telling the truth because she's sitting next to the big girl.
Women reject men for, like, a wide variety of physical characteristics.
I'm not going to reject a man for his height.
Really?
Most of the men I've dated are short. I swear. I swear. You can look at my track record.
When you say short, let's go into detail. So you had a 2-year relationship. How tall was he?
5'8".
How tall are you?
5'4".
Okay, I mean,
I've dated a 5'5" guy. I mean, I typically would prefer if a man's my height or taller.
Would you date a guy who's shorter than you?
I did in middle school.
Middle school. That's different.
But like, okay. I mean,
Would
you date a dwarf?
Maybe if he's the best man I've ever met.
No, she wouldn't. She has a need to be right. Okay. I would date a dwarf, by the way. I'm not trying to throw any shade to the dwarf community.
I think
if anybody knows a female dwarf, link me up. Okay. Would you date a guy who's shorter than you?
No.
Would you date a guy who's shorter than you?
I dated a guy that was my height, but shorter.
Okay, how about this? Let me change it because y'all want to play this game. Is it your preference to date a guy who's shorter than you?
Okay, to be honest, no.
Okay.
Right. But we must date and consider fat women. Make it make sense.
Gotcha, bitch.
Would you date a guy who's balding? She laughed at that shit.
No. That's a no.
All right.
We're getting to that age where it's going to start to happen soon.
I mean, some guys bald even in like high school and shit.
My grandpa has a full head of like white hair. I'm
My
talking
dad-
like,
my grandpa had that
like
too. Both my
so full.
My dad is fully bald and pulled a 20-year-old when he was 40, so I think it happened.
Good job.
Go Dad.
All right.
My dad's fully bald, and he pulled my
Oh,
stepmom when she
this
was
is for you. We almost talked about wrong for a man to dump his girlfriend if she regularly turns him down for sex. You say that's wrong. Why is that?
Did I say that's wrong?
Well, you agreed to the statement. So wrong for a man to dump his girlfriend if
No,
she
I
regularly.
don't. I do not agree with that. I didn't read it right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go-
Very interesting how she changed her mind so suddenly. Because I was going to say, a man must sacrifice his life for you, but you won't give him no pussy? That's crazy.
Gotcha. All right. So if she's like
If she's
only
withholding-
sleeping with him like 3 times a year, you think it's totally fine. Like
Yeah,
he
like
can
she
dump
said,
her.
you need to work it out to the best of your ability. But
Right.
yeah,
Some more questionnaire stuff. What would you want the minimum yearly income to be for your future husband? Starting with you.
From my experience, I mean, around the same or over, like a little bit under is fine, but I don't know. I would like to be able to, book vacations and do dinners that like meet up to where kind of where I'm at. I don't know. I like I said before, I don't want to fully financially support a man. That's just me. They don't have to make like more money than me. Maybe just somewhere around the same range where we have the same financial goals.
Okay. What about you?
I think that's
fair.
fair.
Like 30 to 40 K euro
Damn, that's very reasonable.
Bro, okay.
a year. Yeah.
Got it. What about you?
Like around 6 figures, I would say, because we
Lauren, what is-
live
is that
in
five-
LA.
is that
It's
500?
really expensive over here, and also I just want to be comfortable with my family, and we want to be able to.
Decipher your answer right now.
What did you write on the? It looks like 500,000.
Yeah.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
LA or not, that's delusional. I think you want to bring that down just a couple notches.
Minimum?
Well, because I was like, no, because I was answering the questions, and then he was asking for the papers back, and I was like,
Quick
I don't
answer.
know. We're like, answer
$1
$1 million. Okay, but it's definitely like 6 figures. Definitely whatever's going to be more comfortable with our financial situation, and just to also like be like experience life, because I still haven't traveled the world, and we haven't traveled the world, so that's where my mindset's at.
She said $1 million.
You've been dating a guy for 6 months. How much does he make?
He almost made 6 figures last
Okay.
year.
Have you ever dated a guy who makes
6 figures, yeah.
500,000? Have you dated?
Well, we broke up,
Oh.
but I was dating him.
What about you?
I said someone who makes as much as I do or a little bit more.
Which is what?
How much do I make?
Yeah.
Between like 60 and 70K a year.
Dope. What about you, Alina?
For me, it depends on the location where we live. Right now,
you live in Siberia.
Siberia?
Yeah.
It would be a lot less, like
Probably.
60, like 50,000 or something, even less
Really?
than that.
No.
Or like
What
we're-
is the Russian currency? Rubies or whatever?
Rubles.
Rubles, yeah.
Yeah.
What about you?
Is this in the context of marriage?
Yeah.
100K if
Okay.
he's the sole provider and I'm stay-at-home mom.
Got
We
it.
have a family.
Cool.
150.
Huh? How much?
150. We're in Santa Barbara.
That's mostly over. With her high expectations. Okay. How tall are you, and what's the minimum height of a man you would date?
I'm 5'4". I think I said 5'5".
What about you? Oh,
I am
you guys centimeters.
5'7". Yeah, it's like 170 It's 170 centimeters, so at minimum 100.
You can scoot your chair in, by the way.
Yeah.
That'll
Sorry,
help.
I'm just kidding.
That'll help out a bit.
Thank you.
Okay. So you said you're 5'8", and then the height of the guy?
5'7", yeah, I think.
Okay.
And
What about you?
I'm 5'3", and I'd want to. The height minimum is like 6 feet.
6 feet. Bare minimum.
So she wants 6 feet tall and $500,000 a year. I'm thinking a G League player?
Y'all smoking crack. Something is wrong with you people.
That's what I call a chain reaction.
Manifest my own destiny. Sex, drugs, and rock and roll, the perfect recipe. May they remember me, my words will live on. I'm guided by an energy, a flame, hold it close to you. Check out my melodies. It's the media that's been leading you. I'll show you a thing. Misdirection, what's the message? They don't want you to win.
As much as we all like to rip on men, this is time to take some accountability.